Do you know that you can almost guarantee a tackle by using the cut stick, where you point the right stick down to tell your defender to take out the ball carrier's legs? Or did you know that you should always use her with a safety subbed in at linebacker, because defensive backs jump way higher and get significantly better interception animations? These are just 2 tips that are guaranteed to make you a better Madden player, and I have 20 more to share with you guys, starting with the most basic tips and getting more advanced as we go. Using a velocity ability like set feet lead or pass lead elite will give your quarterback increased throw power on any bullet passes that you throw with a pass lead. The extra velocity means you can hit receivers in much tighter windows, allowing you to make throws that would otherwise be interceptions and get the very most out of your passing game. If you want to select a particular player on defense before the snap, a surprising number of Madden players will press B or circle repeatedly until they get to the player they want, but there's a much faster method. All you have to do is identify your currently selected player, and then relative to him, point your left stick toward the player you want to select, and then press B or circle. If you want to run a match coverage based defense, you have to go into your coaching adjustments and change your zone coverage setting from default to match. In previous years, you could call match coverage plays like cover 4 palms or quarters, and the defense would play match coverage by default, but this year, calling those plays without turning on match in your coaching adjustments will cause the defense to just play a normal cover 4 drop. When a defender is about to tackle your ball carrier, spam A on Xbox or X on PlayStation. This has 2 benefits. The first being that it'll cause your player to stiff arm, which is one of the best ways to either break the tackle or get a fall forward animation. The other benefit is that if a tackle battle is triggered, you're already spamming the button that you have to press anyway, giving you a high chance of winning the tackle battle. If you're struggling to figure out whether your opponent is playing man coverage or zone coverage, put a receiver in motion across your formation. This is something that I cover in my gun doubles offset ebook for my sprucegoose.gg members, but if the defender lined up across from the receiver runs with him, then you know your opponent is playing man coverage, while if he stays on his side, then you know your opponent is playing zone coverage. The one exception to this is that your opponent could be base aligning, but if that's the case, then you should be able to capitalize on having a numbers advantage on the side you motioned your receiver over to. The edge threat ability is incredibly strong on defensive ends, since it nearly guarantees dominant pass rush wins on the outside. For the best results, make sure you're playing in a 4 down lineman set like nickel over, big nickel over G, or nickel 2-4, and make sure you don't QB contain, since that'll prevent the ability from working. Shading your man coverage in different directions will drastically change how your defenders guard the receivers. To shade your coverage, just press Y or triangle and then point the right stick in the direction you want to shade. Shading outside will help your defenders guard outbreaking routes such as corner routes significantly better. Shading up will protect against getting beat over the top, and shading down will tell your defenders to play underneath the receiver, so in that case, it's smart to have safety help over the top. One of the best route combos for attacking zone coverage is the flood concept. All you need to do is find a play that has a corner route coming from an inside receiver, and then use hot routes and or motion so that you have a streak, corner, and flat route all on the same side of the field. The streak is mainly there to clear out space, so most of the time, you just have to read the high-low of the corner route and flat route and throw to whichever one the defense doesn't guard. When making substitutions and setting audibles on defense at the start of a game, you may find yourself in a situation where you're forced to call a play before you're done with all of your adjustments. However, if you pause the game, once the game resumes, you'll have an extra 15 seconds to finish making your adjustments and still have time to call a play. The inside stuff ability is one of the most effective ways to stop the run in Madden. Defenders with the inside stuff ability get significantly faster block sheds against inside runs, which often results in them instantly throwing off their blocker and blowing up run plays in the backfield. And if you're on offense, the way to counter an inside stuff player is before the snap, double team him. One of the simplest ways to beat man coverage is to use motion slants. As the name implies, all you have to do is put your receiver on a slant, put him in motion, and then snap the ball. The motion makes it impossible for the defensive back to press, and most of the time, the receiver will get at least a few yards of separation after the break.